Hi, I'm here today to tell you a story about my son, Brigham, his experience on methyl B12. At this point in time, he's been on methyl B12 shots for approximately 2 years now. When we first went on the shots, it was on a blanket dose, and we did that blanket dose for just about a year. We didn't see, the only real big things we saw was increased sleeps. The night of the shots, he would sleep all through the night and, sleeping in the morning, where normally he's up around 4:30 in the morning. And it seemed to calm him down a little bit when we had the shots. He was more focused. He was just calmer. We did that for about a year. After the year point, I came across an abstract on TMG, folinic acid, and methyl B12 together. So at that time, I had slowly increased his folinic acid to the appropriate dose, and I slowly introduced TMG and got to the recommended dose. And then I spoke to my DAN doctor and told him once I started the TMG, I saw a boom in language with him. And socialization at school, it was the first time he initiated play. He said, "Come follow me, let's play chase, let's ride the bike." This Brig was pretty much, just parallel playing, never, would seek out his peers. He was very comfortable with adults, but not children. So this was huge for him. At that time, I saw in the abstract about the appropriate levels for the weight and realized he wasn't on the appropriate level for his weight. So at that time, I asked my DAN doctor to increase his dose. Once we increased his dose to the appropriate level for his weight, we got an instant boom in socialization and complex language, he just blossomed. Let's see. And then since we saw such good results at his weight level, I said, why don't we go up a little bit more? So we went above and beyond his weight level, and again we got a big jump in complex language, kind of conversational. Socialization kind of stayed the same, and we kind of left it there with the TMG and the methyl B12 at that elevated dose. We left it there for about 9 months. At that time, I was in the middle of switching DAN doctors, so of course I ran out of methyl B12 between visits. At that time, we were still on the TMG, but we were without methyl B12 shots for 6 to 8 shots. We saw Brigham, his eye contact just was terrible. He's usually a moderate eye contact kid. Totally, eye contact was nothing. He was not using language at all. He was very quiet, very unfocused, kind of had yeasty repetitive behaviors, but it wasn't as classical yeasty behavior. I wasn't sure what it was. We never went without B12 before, so I couldn't attribute it to that. And he was on the TMG at the time, so I didn't know what it was. So finally, when the script came in, I made sure I checked my watch to see when we gave him the injection, to see if I expected hyperactivity, because when he first started the shots 2 years ago, he did experience some hyperactivity. Once we decreased the dose, actually decreased the frequency of the shots, he was able to handle them no problem. So I thought, because he was without him, this is what maybe I would see. So all of a sudden, 3 hours after the injection, the first injection, while at this point we were on TMG, we did our first methyl B12 shot, and all of the regression went away. Within those 3 hours, the eye contact came back. He was grabbing me, asking me to come upstairs with him and watch Mary Poppins. He would go upstairs and be lost and not tell me anything. He goes upstairs, he came right downstairs, I mean, tugging on us, pulling on us, which he never has done before. And that same night, I caught him from a really bad fall. And he looked at me and he said, "Mom, you're such a lifesaver." And he had such a sincere look on his face. You know, normally he would be very, very anxious look. It was a very sincere, very relieved look. And he was just telling me, it was just a very neurotypical look I got from him. It sent chills up me. My husband even woke up from off the couch and said, "Did he just say what I thought he said?" And I said, "Yeah, he did." And we were so pleasantly surprised, and it just kept coming and kept coming from there. At that point, about 3 days into restarting the methyl B12, I came across an email from one Dan doctor to another discussing TMG versus methyl B12. And what I got out of that letter was that TMG only works in some areas of the bodies, and methyl B12 can donate methyl groups throughout the whole body. So I said to myself that my son may not be getting the full benefit of methyl B12. So about 3 days into starting the new round of shots with TMG, I dropped TMG. And I dropped it very slowly. I did a half a dose, and then for about 3 days, and then took it completely away. And I was really expecting some regression in language. If that's what I was expecting to see, that if it was going to happen. And what I saw was just the opposite. He started complex language, conversation, spontaneously socialization in school, talking about having friends over to play and inviting them. I mean, he's never really had friends over, just cousins. Just that whole concept of friendship is huge for him, and to know that they need an invitation. I mean, it just blew us away. He just notes, from school from the previous week of, unfocused, but, when we were without the shots, I said, "What did you do? Did you change his diet?" We really didn't mention anything to them. We just said he's better, and, all of a sudden the why question, he's asking, why do birds fly? Why do dogs bark? I've been trying this speech therapist for 2 years to get him to, ask why questions, or just, to get that skill. Very difficult skill, and they told me that he maybe would never ask why. And I knew that the day would come, and it came in an instant. And he's actually, in the last 5 weeks, we've been about 5 weeks now without TMG. The why questions have gotten even more complex. He's using them appropriately now. He's more consistent. When you ask him a why question, he can consistently answer the question. When we first started, without the TMG, it was hit or miss whether he would understand that question. And now, as the weeks progress, he is just grasping that skill, and you can just tell that the light bulb is just on, and the area of his brain is just, like I said, in an instant. I mean, we've been working on this for 2 years. The school, his teachers can't get over, the change in him. And of course, I didn't explain it, but we're really hoping, and we know this is going to help him in his detox process. And it's been just a huge addition to Briggs' regime, and we know that it's going to take him to the next level of his progress. And I wish I knew. I was told when we started methyl B12 that TMG works here, methyl B12 works here. What do you want to do? I just see the full effects now of methyl B12, and I know this was the right route to go for us. And we're just so happy. And without it, my kid is a different kid. My kid is not working to his full potential. He needs his B12 in order to go to that next level. And we're so glad we have it.